guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about my top 10 favorite nude eyeshadow palettes. These palettes definitely get neglected in my collection. I'm not gonna lie. I'm totally one of those people. I'm like a little squirrel. When I see something shiny, I'm like, ooh, shiny new things. So I definitely neglect these favorite nudes in my collection, but I'm so grateful for Cara C because this is a collab video. Haha, gotcha. I'm collabing with my Canadian friend Cara here on my channel. I don't know why I decided to tell you guys she's Canadian. But you know, that's just a fun fact. She's also a divorce lawyer, which makes me so happy because she's always full of really interesting stories. So if you guys haven't checked out my girl Cara, you need to do that. I'm going to link her video and her channel down in the description box. We were introduced by Britt Clark. Actually, was it the start of this year? We were on a live stream together. We discussed the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson collab last year, actually. That's when we met on Britt Clark's live stream. So it's so crazy how time goes by, but I love her channel. She is also on a major weight loss journey. She's lost over 100 pounds. She is so motivational. So if you haven't checked her out, definitely recommend. And now, without further blabbering, let's get into my favorite nude palettes. Here we are. So to start off the show, we have a little guy here from Juvia's Place. This is the Juvia's Place Chocolates Mini Palette. Oh my gosh, I never used to be into like deep, rich eyeshadows because I always felt like it made me look like I had a black eye. But girlfriend, the tides have changed. I am so into deep, rich colors now. I'm such a fan of jewel tone mattes. And I don't know, this color story just is so different but so good at the same time. It has that amazing Juvia's Place quality, of course, with the shimmers as well as the mattes, but I of course find these two shimmers so interesting because they have so much depth to them. I feel like you can also use this palette in conjunction with their nudes palette as well as their taupes palette. I think this would pair really well with those. But yeah, this is one of the affordable ones, so I wanted to talk to you guys about this Juvia's Place palette. And Juvia's Place is definitely known for their colorful shadows, so had to give that little one a shout out because it's really good. Okay, this one is probably the oldest palette I'm going to talk about in this video, and this is the Vizier Neutral Matte palette. This one used to be such a talked about palette back in the day on YouTube, and even though mine doesn't look like I've done any work with it, I used to use this palette all the time. And the cool thing about this is that you can use these all over your face, so you aren't limited to just your eyeshadow. You can use this as a bronzer, you can use this to fill somebody's brows. You can basically do a full face with this palette, and you better be able to because this is an $80 palette. It's definitely one of the more expensive things in my collection. I definitely don't show this enough love. It's already even been repackaged. This is the old packaging. If you're familiar with Vizier, you'll know that, but I really like this guy and it's still remained in my collection over the years and it's a keeper. Okay, the next two palettes I want to talk about, I feel like these count as one, right? Because they're basically the same palette with a few different colors in it here and there to make it more compatible with different skin tones. So these are the Summer Days palettes by Sydney Grace. If you guys haven't tried Sydney Grace yet, honestly, you're missing out. So many people have tried the palettes now because of the Mel Thompson collaboration, and I'm so happy to see that even more people are enjoying this brand. So this is one of the palettes, and then this one I believe is the lighter palette. It's such a mess, but these metallics are so, so good. And these are newer palettes, so I wanted to give them a shout out. They work so well, so easy to blend. The metallics are amazing. I do have a swatch party video on these palettes, so if you're interested in seeing full swatches, you should definitely check them out. Okay, so for my fourth palette, I am going to talk about another oldie but a goodie. This is the I Think I Love You palette by Colourpop. Most of you probably didn't even know I own this palette, but for the longest time, this was my go-to travel palette. I actually took this with me on a work trip to Vegas and I used it every day and I loved every second of it. In 2020, I felt like the Colourpop eyeshadow formula has gone a little bit downhill, but then I think of how much I loved this palette and I'm like, maybe it's something that changed recently because this palette, the metallics are like butter, and honestly, unless something changed, see? Like, I don't know what happened with Colourpop, but I remember their eyeshadow palettes being really, really good. So I'm not sure if it's still available for purchase, but if it's not, I would recommend this one, which is the Whatever palette. I definitely slept on this palette when it first launched. I was like, oh my god, that palette, it's so whatever, but I actually picked it up and I used it and it's gorgeous. The metallics again are beautiful. The mattes are so stunning, and I just feel like this would be such a great everyday palette as well. So if you can't get your hands on I Think I Love You, this Whatever palette on tan and deep skin tones is a stunning neutral palette. Okay, so the next palette is also another cute little guy. This is the Nabla Cutie palette in the shade Nude. So they have like 5 of these now, I believe, and this one is so good. It has like a cream to powder formula. Nabla is an Italian-based indie brand, and I was first introduced to them by my friend Angelica, and now these palettes are available on Ulta's website as well. But oh my goodness, this black, like, it's so stunning, and it has like this almost like a sheen to it, but they're so easy to work with, and I love this size. Again, for travel, this is an excellent palette. So if you are in the market for a cute little nude palette and it has a good black in it, I would totally recommend the Cutie palette in the shade Nude from Nabla. Okay, in 6th place is the Huda Beauty Nude Rich palette. This came out last year and it was so fun. I collabed with 2 of my best friends here on YouTube, Angie and Amy. We each featured a different palette and did like an eye look and stuff. That was so fun. I wish we could find another set of palettes to do that with. But anyway, this is such a cute palette. It's one of the better Huda Obsession palettes because these ones are so hit or miss. I've even seen people not really loving the new ones she came out with, like the Haze Obsessions. I have the khaki one. It's okay. I don't love it. I definitely owe you guys a video on that one, but for now, this one did not disappoint. It's my favorite Obsessions palette, and every once in a while I consider buying the other 2, but I'm like, Karen, you don't need it. Walk away, back away slowly. Okay, in 7th place is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. Can you guys believe Anastasia did a mini version of this palette? I'm so excited for them because I really love this palette. I wish I used it more, but anytime I have to do a friend's makeup for an event or like bridal makeup, I've used this palette over and over again. It's such a staple in my collection and it's so good. It's so easy to use. I really couldn't change a damn thing in this palette, and if I didn't have all the makeup I had and I didn't have a YouTube channel, this would definitely be one I reach for on a daily basis. I could definitely see myself hitting pan on this palette, and I'm not ashamed to say that. So I really, really enjoy this Soft Glam from ABH. Okay, so in 8th place is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I'm not ranking these. I'm just counting them down so I know I stop at 10. And this one is a bit of a new launch. It's not the newest launch from Natasha Denona, but it did come out this year. And yes, it's boring as heck, and so many people roasted this palette. But here's the thing, sometimes neutral palettes like this get to me. They speak to my soul. I was so excited. I think the summertime launch was perfect. I could see myself again taking this palette on vacation. This cream to matte shade called Deep Dive is amazing for smoky eyeshadow looks. All you have to do is take Deep Dive, blend it all over the crease, and then use any of the shimmer shades as a lid shade and you are good to go. I love Natasha Denona's cream to powder formula. I wish she did a palette full of them. They're so easy to use and I really like this palette. I would 100% recommend picking this up as a gift if you have a neutral lover in your life. I can't imagine them not loving this. Okay, so we're down to the last 2, and these are 2 of my favorite palettes from 2020. I'm sure you guys already know what I'm about to talk about. So in no particular order, number 9 is the Supreme Nudes by Artist Couture. This is the first eyeshadow palette I've tried from Artist Couture, and man oh man am I in love with this palette. If I was getting married in 2020 and I was doing my makeup, this is the palette I think I would go for. It's such a beautiful palette. It's so basic, so easy to use, so shimmery and beautiful, easy to blend. Same things that I said about all the other palettes, but this one just ranks a little bit higher because it's got that extra sophisticated packaging. It's got that beautiful shade called Supreme, which is a little bit different from the other neutral palettes I've shown you guys today, and this is such a winner. This is such a winner. So if you guys need a new neutral palette, this is the one. Or in number 10, my ultimate favorite neutral palette of 2020 is the Quarter Rosa. This is the one that really got me interested in Sigma. Like, I still remember watching videos, even of my friends, people that I love and trust, talking about the Sigma Enchanted palette, and I'm like, no, Sigma's eyeshadow formula is garbage, because I used to own one of their palettes back in the day, and I was like, no, their eyeshadow palette formula is garbage. All these people are just getting it in PR, which is why I thought they were talking about it. Not the case. Not the case at all. Once I tried these eyeshadows, I realized why so many people have been raving about them, and it's because they are awesome, my friends. This packaging, 10 out of 10. These eyeshadows, beautiful. Again, if I didn't have as big a makeup collection as I do now, I would probably have a palette like this and just use it all day long. It's so beautiful. I love this palette so much. Sigma's been killing it in 2020 for me. I can't wait to see what else they come out with. I'm actually wearing their holiday palette on my eyes today. It's this little guy. It's the video that went up yesterday, so you should definitely check it out. And I'm also wearing it mixed with this guy from Sigma, which is the Essentials palette, which they did in collaboration with Stephanie Lange, and I was sent this palette in PR, and this one I purchased myself. So definitely check out that video if you're interested in seeing how I created this look. So guys, that is it for my top 10 favorite neutral eyeshadow palettes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and check out Kara's video. Let her know I sent you. Tell her I said hey. I hope that you guys enjoyed this collaboration. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video soon. Bye guys!